Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you see, we have a lot of things to talk about. My name is Demetra K. I am sitting here with Donovan Sadiq, who always likes to throw rocks and hides his hands. He is working all the bells and the whistles regarding the podcast, the Demetra K podcast, and he's doing all the other stuff for the YouTube channel that we are slowly building, but it's building. And so we always like to say on this show and any other show that we do, because we have a few, we just like to promote understanding and positivity amongst Black people and discuss the issues that are important to us in order to help us build and take our rightful places in the world, not just society, but the world. And so I'm going to go ahead with our topics because we have a few. So the last couple of weeks, and I'd like to say hello to everybody on the podcast, not trying to be rude. If you guys have any questions you want me to answer while we're doing this, just go ahead and send them and Donovan will give them to me. All right. So over the last couple of weeks, I've been asking you in Facebook land to and on the podcast to give me questions or comments or concerns you want me to address. And for the last 3 weeks, it's been going well. I've been getting quite a few things to talk about. And so today I'm going to do the same thing. Hey, Al, it says looking good with your well, thank you. All right. So some of you guys who follow me on Facebook saw that I posted a video a couple days ago by a guy by the name of, he calls himself Mitchell Nkrumah. Nkrumah Speaks. I'll probably jack that all up, but his name is Mitchell anyway. And so he has this channel that people follow or whatever the case is, and he speaks on a plethora of issues in the Black community. Well, this particular video that he spoke about basically asked the question as to what can we hold Black women accountable for? And I'll go ahead and read some of the questions that he asked. Some of the questions he asked were, well, he actually was making statements, and he said, we can't hold you accountable for what you wear. We can't hold you accountable for dealing with a dude that doesn't take care of his kids. So basically he's saying you women deal with men who already have kids that they're not taking care of. So he said, we can't hold you accountable for that. He also says, we can't hold you accountable for wanting to deal with bad dudes. We can't hold you accountable for taking dudes to child support. Just because he doesn't want to deal with you anymore. Hey, Quinn, how are you? He also says, what else? Because he said a lot. He says, we can't even hold you accountable for being women anymore because of the whole sexist thing. Oh, well, that's sexist if you expect a woman to cook. Oh, that's sexist if you expect a woman to, do this, that, and the other that women used to do. And so he's like, what can we hold you accountable for? Now, I won't say that it created a firestorm on my page, but there were quite a few of opinions that kind of went forth, and they were differing opinions. And I said, I just labeled it, put the video up, and I said, preach, because I, as a Black woman, I agree with him. But instead of making this one-sided, I thought, why don't we ask each other, what can we hold each other accountable for? Because, we don't want to get into making it seem like we're bashing Black women, because we know we do see that quite a bit. And we also see it on the other hand, Black women bashing Black men. And I also like to say, in no one else's race do you see that take place. Hear it, see it, any of that kind of stuff. You don't see any other race bashing each other. If they do, they probably keep it indoors behind closed doors. They don't air their dirty laundry out for the whole world to, say, wow, that's a Black man talking bad about this Black woman. Or that's a Black woman talking bad about this Black man, and so we need to, ask ourselves, what can we hold each other accountable for? Or are we just supposed to just say, well, that's the way it is. Let me just mind my business and keep on going. So I don't see any comments on here. So I'll start with you, Donovan. What? Yes. I know you just can't wait to see you keeping this.
Wait.
But, I know this is a topic that's near and dear to your heart.
Because I've been saying it for how many years?
I've been saying this for a long time, that, there's basically nothing that you as a Black man, I guess you could say, can say to Black women without them. Hell, you was in Houston not too long ago, and you made a comment saying, wherever you were, the Black women had attitudes.
Yeah.
Their fists were balled up. and you just didn't understand what the problem was. So what do you see needs to be changed?
Well, what needs to be changed, in my opinion, is the stigma of a strong, independent black woman, because that is not true.
Okay.
And it's not true by the literal definition. You can't be strong and independent and raising these young girls in the projects on Section 8, and you're putting that in their head because it's confusing them. And this diva attitude that we teach, that shit's not cute.
Okay.
It's just not cute. So if you're asking me, what can I hold a black woman accountable for in today's thing? Just like you said, nothing. Because
nothing?
Well, I mean, there's a lot I can say.
But it's not going to be well received.
Exactly.
Hey, Hannah, and you say he's correct in that if a man critiques a black woman, he is attacked. Well, no, and you know what? I agree with you guys. I totally agree. And Billy, hey, Billy, you said I agree with him on that point. So it is you, since there's only men on here right now. And so it's you now. Well, I guess that's what we're just going to deal with until some women come on here.
But then right there, there's only men on it. So you've got a lot of men that are willing to listen and work the problem. Where are the women? Oh, I don't want to hear that. I ain't going there. Girl, you against us.
Billy says you ain't independent living in the project. Hey, Richard, you say facts. So they're agreeing with you. Listen, I'm not disagreeing. I think that you guys should be able to hold us accountable without us getting an attitude. Now, I just want to play devil's advocate. And Al, he says, how about holding people accountable by saying, why keep asking me what can I hold you accountable? Yeah, I mean, and then Billy says, government helping you out. Wow. Ooh, I think I opened up a can of worms here. Okay.
Very touchy. Very touchy.
I will say this, just to play devil's advocate a little bit. I think a lot of black women feel attacked to some degree. Maybe it's the black women who aren't necessarily doing those things. Maybe it's the black women who feel like you can. Donovan's cat is going ham in here on the green screen.
Hold on. I'm gonna get him. Hold on.
I'm scared he's gonna jump in my weave or something. But I mean, some black women, I think they feel attacked, and so because and I think a lot of you men, you can see you can admit that you see it too. You see a lot of posts just dragging a black woman down, and I'm not saying some of it is not warranted, but sometimes it's a bit much. And so as a black woman, I'm saying you can hold me accountable. I think we should be able to hold each other accountable. I mean, I guess it's all about delivery as well.
Yes.
If you're telling me, well, maybe if you wouldn't wear your dress so tight, then maybe dudes wouldn't be looking at you. Now, that's true. But then that also, gives the connotation that, you shouldn't be able to wear whatever you want. That I see, y'all should see the look on Donovan's face. Just because a woman wears, something that's less than, that still doesn't give a man the right to become ungentlemanlike.
Okay, that's true. Now, Are you saying her man or just men in general?
Okay, that's a good question. I'm glad you said that. Her man. I feel like, especially if you have a man, you should have no problem with your man holding you accountable, because that's what he's supposed to do. If he sees you, and I'm just using the dress because it's easy. If he sees you walking out the house, in a dress that's kind of attention grabbing, yeah, he should be able to say to you, I'm gonna need you to go and change that, put something on, a little bit longer or looser or whatever the case is. And Al says, how about saying I can't hold you accountable if your bank account is in the negative? Well, I mean, if your bank account is in the negative, that sounds like a personal problem. Just don't ask me for a loan.
Yeah, I don't think we have that problem.
No, I don't spend what I don't have.
No. I said Al's making the money, so you ain't got to worry about that.
Okay. Billy says, how you dress isn't a part of it. And Hannah says, every day, I think you mean, I see many memes, a real man blank, wear a tattoo. Yeah, absolutely. And some people I've heard a lot of people ask, or seen a lot of people ask, what is a real man? What constitutes a real man? Because I do, to your point, I do see a lot of women say that. Oh, a real man gonna do this. A real man will do that. And I think some of it is it's interpreted that a real man is going to let me just run roughshod all over the place, do and say whatever I want to say to him. You guys should see Donovan running around the studio trying to chase this cat. And Richie says, we live in a world where self-respect is defined by what morals you have. No, absolutely. I mean, self-respect is so important. It's almost like, well, it's not almost, it is. You can't really expect people to respect you if you don't respect yourself. And then let's see, Billy says, it's how you carry yourself when you are dressed in that way. I agree. I mean, even if she's carrying herself as a lush, as just a wayward woman, as a man, a gentleman, it still shouldn't make a man come unglued and say, well, shoot, if she's acting like a hoe, I'm going to go treat her like a hoe. I mean, that doesn't make it right. And so as far as, holding a woman accountable for how she dresses, I think Donovan made a good point in that if it's your woman, hold her accountable for how she's dressing. Now, I always say this to men. If you see women, like you have all these, you have busted a sweat chasing the cat down.
Yeah, he's in jail. He's in jail.
Like a lot of times you see on, Instagram and all these other things, these women who, and a lot of people have started to take black women to task. See a lot of black women, not just black women, but I'm speaking from black women's point of view on Instagram and all these other social media sites where they're half naked and all this other stuff. Booty model. Thing is, booty model. Well, my thing is, if you men start to shun that behavior, then I think it'll stop. It'll start to come to a halt. But as long as there are men, and I'm not saying you guys, but as long as there are men out there who are, ooh, look at that, liking it all, baby, this, that, and the other, in the inbox, DMs, or whatever they call it, being thirsty, they're going to do that. But if you guys just start saying, you know what, I see you, but I don't see you, that means nothing to me. Any woman that I'm trying to be with is not going to come from an Instagram booty model or any of that kind of stuff. So no, that's how you can hold that type of woman accountable, but just not giving her the attention that she's looking for. And then Al says, why don't people worry about themselves? My grandpa was the only real man. Indeed, your grandfather was a real man. I think some people will beg to differ with the word only. And again, what is a real man? Because a lot of people have asked, what is a real man? All right. And then so Billy says, we get caught up in what we think real man/woman is about from society. Get what you can handle and like. Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily know what a real woman is. I think if you can touch me, then I appear to be real, but people try to draw that line. A real woman, let's say, what do people say a real woman does?
Have kids?
A real woman, goes to work every day. A real woman takes care of her kids. A real woman, takes care of her man. A real woman is about her business or whatever the case. So I do hear those kind of things. So I don't know if that makes you real or what.
So I got a comment here.
You got a comment?
Yeah,
okay.
Some chick is saying, men are too critical. Express yourself, girls. See, this is the kind of stuff, that's what I'm talking about. She's not listening to what we're saying.
She says, men are too critical. Express yourself, girls.
She's not getting the message. She's throwing a hashtag out, basically.
So can you ask her what that means? Well, what does it mean, expression? Because nobody is saying, see, and that's the thing I think we need to get very clear on. And since we're just you fellas and I, and, the young lady who made the comment, I think we need to get clear on what it means to express yourself. You can express yourself all you want, but just not at the detriment of other people. Like if you're in a relationship, you can only express yourself so much before your man says, I need you to just tone down. I need you to tone down the expression of yourself. But so if you can get her to clarify, sure. I mean, I don't exactly know what it means to express yourself.
Can you please clarify what the fuck you just said?
Oh, see, you got to be nice about it.
Sorry.
Okay, so Al says, Alexander O'Mill said he was an all-true man. Okay, well, what is that?
Yes. Read the lyrics of that song.
I'm going to have to. Mm-hmm. And Hannah says, if you walk into a room full of females and yell, bitch, only the bitches will be offended. Women will ignore the statement. So the offended women are usually guilty. No, I agree with that. I don't know what that's about nowadays, where, women are, hey, bitch. Or
they calling themselves.
But bitches. I do agree with you. I mean, if a woman walked into the room and yelled, bitch, I'ma look, but I'm not gonna get offended or respond or who are you talking to? I'm just gonna shake my head like, wow. And so Richard, you say, I tell my female friends to master your home first, then conquer the world, / your goals. No, absolutely. Hey, Shauna, another woman has joined us. No, absolutely. Absolutely. And that goes for anything. You can't be a master of anything until you master self, and then your home environment, and then you go outward that way. But yeah, I always say this. you know, when you're taking advice from people, consider the source. You know, because there's a lot of women out there, and no shade to the young lady who made the comment about express yourself. There's a lot of women out there tell you to express yourself. But, like, what does that mean? That you giving me this advice, but you're not giving me the backstory to it. A lot of people, not just women, but a lot of people will tell you what to do in your relationships, but they ain't got no relationship. Yeah, Al, I said ain't got no. So, I mean, you have to master self first. You have to. If you don't do that, it's just a lost cause. And so, in regards to holding each other accountable, I mean, I think we should be able to do that. Like my dad always says, he says a woman worth her weight will impose demands upon her man. Now, you know how many times I've said that around and to some women, and they're like, or even to men, and men especially. Well, shouldn't a woman be demanding anything, you know, and all this other stuff? And I'm like, well, it's not like, boo, take out the trash. You do this, you do that. It's to me, the demands are more like expectations. There are things I expect of you as my man, and I'm sure there are things you expect of me as your woman.
So you're basically saying when you meet a guy and he doesn't have a job, you shouldn't expect him to have a job later on down the road.
Well,
if you've accepted him, you know what I mean?
Well, no, yeah. If you accepting a person like that,
you shouldn't have any greater expectation. Well, I mean, you should, but
yeah, you can have. Listen, people are down on their luck all the time, but. I see what you're going through right now, but I do expect for you to get a job. Like, I don't expect for you to make, expect for me to take care of you for the rest of your life. I mean,
but a lot of women fall into that. They think,
and then they be mad as hell afterwards because he's sitting on his couch playing PlayStation all day.
Right. Here's the response to that young lady. She says, men have been absent in their kids' lives and are deadbeats. Girls got to do it for themselves. Okay. I like
if y'all heard that, give a thumbs up. If y'all heard what Donovan said.
Right. Now, I like what she's saying because that's her opinion. But notice that had nothing to do with the question. It's a deflection.
Can you read that again?
Yes. Men have been absent in their kids' lives and are deadbeats. Girls got to do it for themselves. That's a deflection. She gone to the playbook because that has had nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Well, I mean, I don't know who this is, but I mean, I guess that's her opinion, but
and it's a good opinion.
It's a good opinion, but.
It's going to the left.
It's going to the left, and it's this blanket, and I'm going to get you guys to comment. It's this blanket statement about men are deadbeats. Now, I'm not saying there's never a case where you get with a guy, and I'm just speaking from her terms of talking about men. You get with a guy, and, I think, I'm trying to phrase this. I think a lot of women get with a guy with good intentions, thinking that he has good intentions.
Wow, if I'm with Ray Ray and Pookie, and I know
said a lot. Okay, I didn't say all. Okay. See, I said a lot. Okay. But there are some times where women know exactly who they're getting with. Like this guy Mitchell said. He said, he had 2 kids already that he wasn't taking care of, and then now you with him, and then y'all got a kid, and he ain't taking care of the kid. Why are you shocked? And so I would just say to her, not all men are deadbeats, and I think we need to delve a little bit deeply into the relationships between men and women. And I see your comments. Like Mitchell also said, he says a lot of times.
No, I'm saying look into the.
Yeah. A lot of times. A lot of times, like he said, women are bitter because the man doesn't want them anymore, and so then they end up in child support and all this other stuff. I mean, oh my God. But thank you for the comment, though. All right, so let me go back because I think she ignited a firestorm here. All right. So Hannah says, all people can teach. Some teach what to do, others what not to do.
Sure.
Absolutely. And Al says, hey, Donovan, I think you and Dee have a lot of Cardi B female listeners. You're trying to get us in trouble. Shauna says, they should probably just be friends if you don't have your stuff together. No, absolutely. It's like you want somebody to bring something to the table. Sure. I think you do. I mean, what you bringing to the table, okay, that's negotiable, but you were bringing just yourself.
And a fork.
Right, yourself and a fork is like, okay.
You brought the fork, spoon, and a napkin with no entree.
No lettuce, no. Okay. So, yeah, I agree with you, Shauna. Let's be friends until we can figure out if this is something we need to do. My dad says, the courting process is dead. People don't court anymore. It's just like, hey, you're cute, you're fine. All right, let's jump in the sack. Oops, we got a baby. You know what? I don't like you, and I don't like you either. And then they try to figure out everything in between time when they should have been getting those questions answered in the beginning. And then Hannafy said, you're not doing it for self if the government, for anything. She's a deadbeat too, the hell.
Thank you. I wish more women with sense, just like that, would stop co-signing on this lie that is out there. Because a lot of these young girls who are inexperienced,
right.
You know, well, my mama says, you know, they don't research it. They're like, okay, well, this has got to be true because my mama says so.
You're right.
No, it's not true. You know, so thank you for that comment.
I agree, Hannah.
Yeah, thank you. Woo! Yes.
I'm not laughing because it's not true. I'm laughing because I felt how appalled you were just through the screen. Like, what the hell?
Right, because if a majority of these young girls start thinking like that,
I'm independent.
What does it make the older? I mean, you know, we're already getting stereotyped as a group.
Right.
So if these young girls are delusional, I'm going to think these older women are delusional too.
Well, who was it that made the comment? I think it was Hannah who made the comment about, you know, teaching and all of that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Woo, that was funny. Billy says white men are deadbeats too. Okay, let me just piggyback off that comment. White men are the original deadbeat baby daddies.
And lazy.
And lazy. I mean, who was they when they was creeping up into the slave quarters? You think they were saying, here, Big Bessie, I'm going to leave you a check because I just dropped off 10 kids in the last 5 years over here. So I'm going to leave you some money and some, you know, whatever was valuable to slaves back then. Nah, he, you know, got in and got out. So the white man is the original deadbeat baby daddy. I mean, if you ask me, yeah, no, it's not just black men. You know, black men get unrightfully stereotyped as the deadbeat baby daddies. I mean, statistically speaking, black men are in their lives more and just as much as anybody. So don't believe the hype on that. And then Shauna says, men are not deadbeats. Laugh out loud. And Al says, don't call a man a deadbeat if you F off your child support check at the mall.
Yes. Amen, brother. Amen. The man's a genius. Yes.
Oh my God. No,
I'm telling you. That's real talk right there.
I think y'all trying to get me in trouble. Y'all trying to get me excommunicated from the women. And then Shauna says, exactly. And Richard, you says, how about running a thorough check on who you're sleeping with? Signs are always free. Always there. No, absolutely. But again, like my dad said, the courting process is null and void. People don't even do it no more. You know, my dad explains to me all the time, when people were courting, let's go to your family house. We'll go to my family house. You can see what the mama's like, the daddy's like. And
you can see what you're getting into.
Yeah,
right.
But, you know, real talk. If you can see if they get along with the parents, who they come from, because normally where they come from is probably who they are.
Right. My mama always told me, you want to see how the girl's going to turn out 8 times out of 10? You look at her mama.
Really?
Yeah, so if the mama like gets all big and she was
my brother always says that.
She was the prom queen back in the day, but after a couple of kids, things could change, different genetics. Now you guys had a beautiful mom, so I can see why you guys are the way you are. I mean, it's like, oh, okay, I can see that.
I work out a lot too.
Well, yeah, but you still got the natural beauty and stuff like that. But that's a true statement. You know, you should go. These guys should be going to the parents, but guess what?
Yeah, and that goes for everybody. Mm-hmm. Everybody should be checking out who this person potentially will be to you. Mm-hmm. So that's why when you see a lot of women say, oh, he's a deadbeat, it's like, what? You know, somebody said the signs were, Richard, the signs were there. Mm-hmm. You just thought, well, he's cute. He got swag, or she's got this big old booty. And,
well,
you know.
Okay, let's say the guy is a deadbeat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What does that say about you if you picked him?
I agree. It says that you have a poor selection process.
Right.
I mean,
you
I
lay
totally
down
agree.
with the deadbeat.
I agree. Right. And so Hannah says we get held accountable all the time. Child support, court, public opinion, media,
yes,
everybody says
sad.
we ain't shit. No, I agree. And so if you guys can see some of the comments on the post that I did in regards to the guy Mitchell, when he says, what can we hold you guys accountable for?
There was a whole people were writing paragraphs.
Yeah, and I'm like, I mean, he didn't say men weren't held accountable. Right. He was just saying, what can we hold women black women accountable
well, and see, that's another thing, how they turn it around. This is a black man speaking and saying about women. Like you said, he didn't say, don't hold men accountable.
Right.
But that isn't what he's talking about. He's talking about women.
Right. And oh my God, it came off the hinges a little bit. I was like, wow. I think some of us are kind of proven right a little bit, you know. And then so Richard says, if these young women he said women's, and then in parentheses he put women. Stop taking advice from rappers and reality TV. We will start to see a change.
Oh my God, amen.
I mean,
amen.
Absolutely. And that's honestly where a lot of people are shaping a lot of this younger generation. I've never seen so many fraudulent housewives of Atlanta running around. I mean, you see these women, you know, playing with the hair and they dress to the nines. It's like, where are you going? I'm going to the grocery store.
Right, and they do nothing but go to parties and gatherings.
Parties, yeah. And so you're right. A lot of that stuff shapes the opinions. I mean, especially if you have a mom or a dad, because it's not just the women, but, you know, a mom or a dad who is not teaching you anything and they're asleep at the wheel. These children start watching this stuff and they think that's who I'm supposed to be. Kerry Washington, ooh, she got it going on. She's strong. She powerful. You know, this, that, and the other.
She's a side chick for the white guy.
But yeah, they're not going to see that. They're going to see she's strong, independent, and powerful. She's running things. You know, and then let's see. Shauna says, oh my God, I did not like the comment section. Yeah, you saw it. He said he said what he said, which was not wrong. Yeah, so I was like, how did we get off the rails here?
Right.
How did this go wrong?
See, and you know, this goes back to what I was saying about like Tommy Sotomayor. And I'm not trying to pop him on the show here. What I'm saying is that guy on that thing, he's talking to other men.
Right.
But yet, there's nothing wrong with women making a comment, but they make the wrong comment. He's like, wait a minute, we aren't talking. He's trying to hold men accountable to what we're selecting.
I agree. But yeah, that just woo. And then so, let's see. And then you said, but the comment section was full of foolishness. Now you're talking about his actual comment section, which I did go look at. And it was just a lot of back and forth, finger pointing and this, that, and the other. You know, some of it was just some silliness too, but it's like, I was like, clearly nobody was listening to what the guy, I mean, the video was only a minute long, but people extracted things that I don't even think he was saying.
What I got out of it was, instead of making a comment, take in what he said, look at yourself, and see if that applied to you.
Right. Well, I guess apparently it was like a deflection section. Like, no, they don't apply to me. It applies to you. And Al says, American good men out here doing the right thing. We don't have to stay with their mom and take care of our kids. We don't need you because it's always new pussy that's better.
Yes. Testify, brother. Testify.
Moving right along.
Cardi B. What's that?
So Cardi B.
That's what she does. I'm just ratchet. You know, I want to be pretty for my little girl fans.
Y'all should see this fool over here. And Richard says, we live in a generation where correction equals hate. Yes.
Yes.
I can't say that. What can I say to you? What can I say to you that will not get me the daggers from the eyes or damn near get my wig pulled off or, you know, any of that kind of stuff? What can I say to you? I mean, how did it get there? And it had to be said, our relationships were shaped by music too. We just had better music. Stevie Wonder, Marvin, Phyllis, music shaped us. Yeah, no, I agree. And it's funny because I was talking to Terry and Cecilia Beard. They actually called me today, and we talked for about a half an hour or so, just about different things that we always talk about. And he mentioned music. He mentioned that the music nowadays is just, I mean, like you said, the music we listen to shaped us. But gosh, have y'all heard some of the stuff they listen to? I mean, some of it is inaudible. You don't know what they're saying. But the stuff you can hear is like, really?
Yeah, mumble rap, and they're rapping in, men are rapping in bride's dresses and stuff. So
yeah, man, this dude is married to the game, and he got a bride's dress on with pink and purple pigtails. It's wow.
Obviously, he didn't have a father in his life, because there's no way a real man is going to.
Now that's not a real man.
Right. Yeah, you're going to come to me and tell me, oh yeah, I think this would be cool to be in the video. Motherfucker, are you crazy? I'm trying to live thug life and try to be hard.
And you want me to wear a dress, a wedding dress on top of that.
Give me a break.
And then Shauna says, yes, I really felt this was not productive. Yeah, I mean, I think what he was trying to say was valiant, but at the end of the day, it was just a bunch of just...
They were proving him right.
Yeah, but just
they were proving him right. At the end of the day, the women fell into the trap and were proving him right.
It was women, but there were men too, who were trying to, I guess, browbeat the women into hearing what he was having to say. Either you're going to hear it or you're not going to say it. Plain and simple, And then you said, like you said, it seemed like it made black men and women further divided. Yeah, I agree. I spent maybe 5 minutes in that comment section. I was like, wow, people really were not listening. How did it get there?
I want to see the new post you put up about women sitting on pretty.
Oh, I tagged you, and I didn't post it.
Okay, you didn't post it.
I tagged Donovan in this video where the man was saying, we're tired of the pretty women. You know, basically, y'all playing with your hair, and I'm cute, I'm this, I'm a bad bitch. He said, y'all wonder why, which I don't know how true it is, but he says, y'all wonder why ugly women are winning.
It's true. It's true.
Well, I don't know. I mean, beauty is an eye of the beholder.
Body holder. So what it means is ugly. But what I'm saying is, like, let's say you're just a plain chick. Or, you know, or you're the real chick.
And I think that's what he meant. Yeah.
Yeah. They're winning. They are. And they're keeping their man. They're in successful marriages. Not, you know, I'm not stereotyping everybody, but in general, yeah, they're winning.
Yeah, because he says you got to be able to bring more to the relationship than just you being pretty. And I agree. And then Billy says he does a pretty good. He said you do a pretty good Cardi B.
Thank you. I'm waiting for Hollywood to call.
Yeah, he's a pretty good impressionist. And then you say his music is so crazy. I think you meant her music is so crazy. And then Shawnee says they heard what they wanted to hear. It seems on both sides. Yeah. And it just went just all over the place. And then Henry says plain women are married. True indeed. You know, and that's the thing is like. I mean, I remember my mom putting on some lipstick and, you know, getting cute for my dad and all that other stuff. But I never remember her walking around, you know, just gussied up all the time and talking about how fine she was, how big my booty is, and I'm this and I'm that, and I'm this and I'm that. And girl, I never heard, my mom was of substance.
Yeah, or it was a constant maintenance situation.
Yeah,
She's
you know.
Constant maintenance.
Right, like, you know, your daddy better be happy he with me because I'm fine. I never heard her talk like that. I think, you know, beauty comes from within. You ain't got to be doing all of that. You know, hell, I got on a baseball tee and some leggings right now.
If Al was here, he make you go in the house and put something else on.
No, he lying. Al, you say, now my stepdad was, oh God, I'm scared to read it. My stepdad was a real deadbeat. He called me 1 year for my birthday. Just said I should have left you on the sheets.
Man.
I didn't say, hey, this is Al. He then said, my bad, I thought you was my real son. And then he hung up the phone on me.
Oh, man.
I'm just going to start glossing right over your shit.
Yeah.
Just going to start glossing.
There you go.
So anyway, I just figure we should be able to hold everybody, each other accountable. You know, just stop getting mad. You know, because a lot of times, and I'm just going to speak from a woman's point of view. You do hear a lot of black women say,
all that. I'd rather just walk away.
Too bad you better love me for who I am.
I'd rather walk away.
You rather walk away?
I'd rather walk away.
You wouldn't want to put up with what you're supposed to do?
Because I have to choke your ass out. I would. I would have to choke you out. I would. I'm serious. I don't mean that. I'd have to choke you out.
Yeah, that would be too much for you?
It'd just be too much.
You just have to walk away?
I'd have to walk away.
Who's saying that song? Gotta walk away from love?
David Ruffin.
Yeah, that's your boy right there.
From love.
Gotta walk away. Right, so.
You know that I love you.
Al says, t-shirt and leggings, baby. Oh, my damn pants are. Anyway, let's moving on. Right
don't
along.
worry, Al. If I see her in something I don't think she should be in, I'll definitely give you the text.
He will. And then Richard says, it hurts to hear about the things you know you should be doing. What people don't understand is the truth/correction is it's supposed to make you feel good.
Yes.
It's supposed to make you feel, make you better. Let's see. Bump feeling good on a downward spiral. I'd rather be corrected than live in error. Yeah. But see, back in the day, we could do that with each other. You know, sister, that's a nice dress. I mean, I haven't been to church in a while, but the times that I was going to church back in the day, you would see somebody coming in a dress that's like, did you mean to come to church in that dress?
Coming to get a husband.
But back in the day, the ushers would be like, nah, baby, baby, listen, you go on into that choir room, get you a choir robe or get you one of these muumuus to put on, but you would not come into the house of the Lord like this. But nowadays, people are so afraid, well, you know, we need to get all the saints in the church and we don't want to offend anybody. Let the sister come on in and then, you know, hopefully she'll get the word.
Yeah. If you're homosexual, whatever, come on in. You're a underage teen with another baby, come on in.
Right. So, yeah, this, you know, and then they usher them all the way through the church and everybody sees it. So it's like, yeah, you're right. We should be to the point where we can take correction, be like, okay, yeah, it kind of hurts a little, but you're right. You know, and Shauna says maybe some of their approach is wrong. Laugh out loud at Donovan. And Donovan is a bona fide fool. No, and always, it's about how you approach people in a situation. It's to me, that's always going to be the case. It's delivery. You can tell me that's maybe that dress is not something you should be wearing, but I'm saying, oh, you look like a hoe. Donovan's always telling me to look at this camera. I'm so used to talking to him. So anyway, I'm going to take the comments regarding that, and I'm going to move along to our next question, which kind of goes along with this, and this came from Billy. And Billy says, is it a good idea for women to teach their daughters that it's okay to use their bodies to get what they want? Now, he put a video on my wall. It was about she's a sugar baby is what she was called. She's an older sugar baby. She's like 35 or something. Typically, sugar babies are young women, and these old cats with money buy them to do whatever, and they give them a lot of money, pay for college, cars, and all this other stuff. Well, so this was a black lady, and she said that she's made about $1 million in sugaring, is what she called it.
Go ahead.
She's made about $1 million in sugaring.
Liar.
She's had like $100,000 worth of work done, and all this stuff is paid for by sugar daddies. That's what she's saying.
She's lying.
And so in the video, she had her daughter. She had 2 daughters there. One daughter's like, oh, yes, I don't think this girl couldn't have been no more than 8. And she's saying, I don't think anything's wrong with that. Sugar, I consider him like Santa Claus.
Yeah, we need a lot of whores out there, so please keep raising them.
Well, I mean, she was agreeing with her mom because that's what she was raised on. And she says, he always buys us stuff and there's nothing wrong with it. Right. Basically, she wants to do it when she gets older.
Right. Now, think about it. What I've always said. You are a product of your environment. If you don't know better, you won't do better.
Oh, absolutely. And so that's the question. I mean, I know the short answer to that, but should women be teaching their daughters, use what you got to get what you want?
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
Why is it that at a certain age, women realize they have something of value?
Like?
Their body.
Okay.
And then they use that to an advantage. I mean, when does that usually, happen where they say, oh my God, I got something that's...
Well, we talked about this last week, I think it was, where a lot of women and girls just, they become aware of their body because a lot of times outside influences like men make them aware of their body, whether it's a comment or something happened to them. They realize, wow, I got this and that, and people want it. So some women are like, well, hell, I'm going to capitalize off of it.
I'm sitting on a gold mine.
I'm sitting on a gold mine, absolutely. And so let me get back to you guys' other comments. Oops. Okay, Al says, back in the day, my baby mama tried to manipulate me with sex. I said, I don't want your funky. I said, I want Whataburger, which is better. You know what? I swear, Al. And then Shauna says, not at all. Hannah says, no, it isn't. Whatever price you get is worth what you give. I have 3 daughters. You say it isn't what you give. Got it. And so, yeah, I know, I agree. I mean, I would definitely not tell my daughter, yeah, go on and use them, girl. Get what you want.
No, Deanna's, she wants her money.
She wants her money.
She wants her money.
And she had to shake you, she gonna get it.
Yeah.
And Richard says, clueless hoes, excuse my language, always have the best / worst advice. Yeah, and there's a lot of people lining up to listen to him. Yeah, somebody mentioned Cardi B earlier, Al and Donovan, but you got girls, some women listening to him, and so you look, if you're asleep at the wheel and you weren't raised with any value, you think, well, damn, Cardi B, shoot, she got this big old booty and all this, and she ain't really talking about nothing but her body and all this licking her tongue out and all this loud talking, that's getting her what she needs.
The sad thing is, I'm gonna put this up on our video, and I'm gonna show you Cardi B doing her stripper work. And I'm not talking about like graphic, nasty stuff. Okay. But I'm going to show you if these people would show their daughters what this girl had to do.
Oh, to get to where
she's at.
But a lot of people don't see a problem with that. And then and then Al says, that's my stepdaddy was the original sugar daddy, especially with all that wax he had built up in his ears. Oh my God. And then Billy says, I know women who got over 500 grand from a lot of men. Damn, in a certain amount of time, so it's not impossible. No, I I bet it's not impossible, but damn.
She must have been in Utah or someplace.
Did she say what she was doing?
Yeah, because they say statistically, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I've read some things, and they say the average cost, and don't get mad at me, this is what I heard.
Hey, I ain't gonna get mad.
A black woman is worth $5.
Huh? Where the hell you get this information?
$5. Because of just dealing with women, just the stigma of it, it brings their value. It's like a stock, it's like a stock option.
Oh, so black women are worth $5?
$5.
To who though? That's the question.
To who? To where you get it. And to me, I would have to agree with that to a point.
Ooh, you better watch out.
No, to a point, because you add the weed and stuff like that, they're very expensive, but all the other stuff that, all the fakeness.
We maybe need to do this on Wednesday, because I'm interested in how black women are deduced to $5.
$5.
Hey, Benny, what's happening? You said, saw that video you posted, and the woman that kept overlooking the entire point the brother was making, and instantly became offended by a brother raising the fact that some women have put themselves, above accountability, and the only black man can be put up for examination. No, absolutely. And I know who you're talking about. And it's like, you missed the whole entire point of what he was saying. I mean, he just was saying, what can we hold you accountable for? I mean, you would think that somebody would have answered the question.
According to her, nothing.
Yeah, because she kept pointing the fingers at
nothing.
men.
Obviously,
it's the man, it's the man.
Raise the kids better. No, don't tell me how to do that. You don't need no weed. Don't tell me what I can wear. What can we hold you accountable for? Obviously, nothing.
They
nothing. Right. For my man. Oh, we can hold you. Oh, she made him rob that store. Come on. Please.
Donovan is on one. You said BBD said never trust a big butt and smile, but yet here we are shaking my head. Well, see, then that's where the ball is in your court, men. Y'all stop falling for the okey doke. What's behind that big old booty? A lot of times nowadays it's silicone.
And I can talk from recent experience. Not that I fell for it, because D knows that I ain't taking no shit. But I had to take the bitch to court to hold her accountable. You know what I mean?
You got your
True
money.
Story though. True story, right? True story, right?
True story.
She thought I had a big butt and a smile. I'm gonna get away with it. No, not with me. That ain't gonna happen. I held her accountable.
Yes, you did.
I made her accountable.
Hannah says, actually, that line of thinking works out in the man's favor. $100 to have sex is easier than dates averaging 4 to 7 days at $100 each, plus the time. So it's dumbass advice to give. No, that's Hannah.
Hannah.
No, I mean, that's true, but I mean, that is the ideology of some women that, hey, I give it to you for $100. So what you gonna do for me? And all?
I was watching MSNBC To Catch a Predator.
Mm-hmm.
You had these young black girls, unfortunately. They were selling it for like $60.
$60.
$60 on back pages or whatever it was.
Lord,
it's just sad. $60.
Eesh.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty high too. So, I'm just saying.
Benny, you said actually any strong man or woman that can accept both compliments and criticism graciously, because they understand it takes both the sun and the rain for a flower to grow. Now, absolutely, and there does have to be a balance. Now, if you're always, it's just like a child. If you're always saying you're no good or you're bad, you can't do anything right, then they're kind of gonna get turned off by that. But if you balance it with love and correction, then it works out. But I think we're to the point with some people where even if you come in the most loving way, I mean, I've heard a lot of men say, I said hi to a sister and she
fist balled.
Fist was balled up.
She's walking past you, walking up to you. In Houston. True story.
You said hi to a sister and she had a fist ball.
She had a fist ball, and I was like, I had to step two steps to the side. Right. I'm sitting right in Houston. Southern hospitality.
That's
Al's
neck of the woods.
It's
and Billy says, it's in North Carolina that I see this. Yes, the Hick States has a lot of shit going on.
It's sad. It's sad.
So there's a lot of sugar daddy-ing and sugar baby-ing and all this other stuff going on. I mean, I really just started hearing about the phenomenon. I mean, I guess it's always been going on. But see, the thing is, back in the day, not that I have any experience with this, back in the day, women who were kept, they were just that. They were kept, and they kept their mouth shut. They weren't all up on social media and telling everybody, girl, I got this man, and he doing this for me. He bought me this Benz, and he bought me this, and yeah, he's married and all this other stuff. I mean, it's just like, wow. But that's not something I would ever teach my child, that you need to use your body parts to get ahead in life. And then Hannah, if you thought that was funny, also say, it's the guilt that brings the results. It's the guilt that brings the results. I have to think about that. And then Al says, baby, please read this in its entirety. Oh, my God. Let me go ahead and press the see more button first, because I can already see where this is going. My stepdaddy was a sugar daddy to a sugar mama. But he broke up with her because she was very nasty. So nasty, she cut the strings up. No, I'm not reading that. Next. I'm not reading that. Lord have mercy. So anyway, Billy says, yes, they were quiet. They were quiet. I'm sorry. Can I read? Yes, they were quiet. Just shut up and take these groceries, girl. I think they were quiet. Shut up and take these groceries. Yeah, I mean, there is no, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, you done tricked yourself out. But when you get older, I mean, what did you have to show for? You just let some dudes use and abuse your body, and then what? You have nothing to show for it. I mean, but stories. I remember back in the day when I was, I mean, what do you have? You have nothing. And then, yeah, so Billy, to answer your question, that's not something anybody should be teaching their children, that you should use your body to get what you want. And so we're also on the second half of the podcast. Thank you guys for coming back. If you have any more questions, please shoot them to me. I will be more than happy to answer them. And so moving along to the next question, because we got a few more. So Tony King, he's not on here. But he actually asked this question last week, and I just didn't have time to get to it. And so he says, are there petitions circulating that announces white supremacist members and KKK terrorists? So I was trying to ascertain what he meant by that. And so I didn't see any petitions announcing KKK members or anything like that, but I did see a few petitions circulating from everyday people trying to get I guess the FBI or somebody, to dismantle and to denounce the KKK and all those other groups, but they didn't have any signatures or anything like that. So, but I think what he was also speaking to, we kind of talked about this last week, is when Jeff Sessions was at Capitol Hill, and Congresswoman Karen Bass was asking him questions in regards to, are white supremacists on this list that you guys have? Like, you have the Black Identity Extremists. Do you have white groups on the list? And he was like totally oblivious. Well,
no, he was like, of course not.
Of course, well, he was trying to beat around the bush and saying no, but it was very clear that, yes, I know that there's black groups on the list, but as far as were there white groups on the list, he was like, well, I don't have to check. I have to read the memos and see and all this other stuff. And then Karen Bass asked him, Congresswoman Karen Bass asked him, are there any hate groups now that are adversary toward police, or black hate groups, or black groups in general that are adversary toward police today? And he says, oh, well, I got to go and check. I got to go check and see, but I'm not really for sure. And she was like, the answer is no, pretty much. But you also know that there are white, supremacist groups out there who are doing the most. In fact, I guess there's one group, I can't think of the name of it, that's the most danger to cops that they don't even mention. It's some sort of a militia or something like that. They don't even mention it. So to answer Tony's question, I didn't see any petitions, but there is definitely something going on. Jeff Sessions was taking a grilling, I would call it.
For the third time. Yeah,
for the third time regarding these groups. When are you going to basically admit that the KKK is a terrorist group? Well, he's not, because he said...
he's a member.
And he made a comment saying, oh, I used to think, and I'm paraphrasing, but I used to think the KKK were a good group until I found out they smoked marijuana. So lynching people and all that kind of stuff, that didn't make them bad.
Torturing people.
Yeah, when you found out they were smoking some weed, that's when they were bad people.
Lynching, killing, raping.
Yeah, so that's what I found in regards to that. Okay, so let me go back to the questions. Let's see. Okay, so Al says, she was so stupid she sold the TV to pay the cable bill. I don't know who she was because I didn't finish her nasty joke. Mm-hmm. And Benny says, we spend too much time posturing against each other, but this behavior just furthers my point of how damaged we are as a whole. There are some exceptions, but as a whole, we are very hurt people.
Yes.
Very hurt people. I have a lot of hope regardless. Oh, no, you know, I have a lot of hope too. You know, it's funny because I was reading, as I do every morning early before my feet even touch the ground. I like to read all the news throughout the day because I don't have TV or anything like that. And I read an article that was about a coffee shop in Denver. Well, what had happened was this coffee shop is a white-owned coffee shop, and they're gentrifying in Denver. I didn't even know there was a black community in Denver, but I guess.
No, go ahead.
But they're gentrifying, and so on the sign it says been gentrifying since 2004, and then on the other side it says something, you know, rubbing the gentrification process into the people's faces, and so the people of the community was like, oh yeah, and so they busted out the window, graffitied on the side of it, white coffee. They started to boycott and picket. I mean, just the people in the neighborhood are taking them to task, and they're like, "Oh, well, we're sorry. We didn't know that was really known as a bad thing." And so it's like, I agree with you, Benny. I'm hopeful too because we are starting to wake up. No longer are we saying, "Oh, everybody." Well, we still are, but not as much. I would say, saying, "Please make them stop. Make them stop being mean to us." We're like, no, we're going to make you stop. Matter of fact, I don't know if this coffee shop is going to be here in the next couple of weeks, okay?
I got a question from
you. Oh, you got a question?
And
okay.
Says,
but let me finish these two real quick.
Right.
And so Hannah says, since I only see two, he says, he's speaking to the fact that black identity groups were targeted. Yes, but see, he wasn't speaking to the facts whether white identity extremist groups were targeted. He's just like,
right. A terrorist group is a terrorist group, so they all should be on the list.
Right. So
especially ones that have been around for over 200-something years.
Right, exactly. And then, you know, of course, that's going back to that whole COINTELPRO, you know, state of mind. Let's label all these black people because, but this is the thing I like to say too, to Tony, since it was his question. They, being the powers that be, the FBI, they realize what's going on. They realize that black people are starting to wake up. And so it's like, okay, we can't have this. We need to keep these Negroes asleep. And so that's why they've come out. They just got caught is what it was because that memo wasn't supposed to be public. It leaked. And so then finally, Richard says the FBI memo had groups that were from 30, 40 years ago. Yeah, absolutely. Trying to make it relevant. And one more question. Al says, John Singleton talked about gentrification in the movie Boys in the Hood. Yes,
he sure did.
In the 90s. And here we are where we're seeing it right before our eyes. Like I said, I went to Slauson. I went Monday to Slauson with my daddy. This man, he lives in Lancaster. I went to visit him. He wanted me to drive him to Slauson, Los Angeles, which is an additional hour and 20 minutes. So I did. You know what he wanted? He wanted some Stacey Adams. I said, all right, Daddy. I'll take you to get you some Stacey Adams.
Brother stuck in the 50s.
Yeah. So I bought him some Stacey Adams. You know, you only live once. But as we were going down there, everything is starting to gentrify. Like areas of Los Angeles that used to be black. They're like, wait, when did this high rise get here? And this upscale business? Yeah. Right. And so what we got from the podcast?
Well, on the podcast, this young lady says, if we wear our hair natural, we are unattractive, and most black men want us to wear our hair long. Now, I'm going to answer this question just real quick. I'm gonna put my 2 cents
if y'all heard that, give me a thumbs up if y'all heard what Donovan said.
If we wear our hair natural, we are non-attractive, and most black men want us to wear our hair long. Okay, I'm going to have to disagree with that. And I'm going to say this. Yeah, you've got those simping niggas that want a Becky with the long, nice, whatever hair it is. Then nigga, go get Becky with the, you know, long, nice hair. Because if you're a black person, you know how our hair is and how our texture is. Whatever. Right. Hair can grow long. Lauryn Hill, she let her hair grow naturally long and locked it out.
Right.
And like that way, which could happen. Now, young lady, if you're listening and you're still on, I'm going to tell you this. Just a couple of weeks ago, a young lady got convicted.
Oh, God.
For killing 3 people over weave. And one of the 3 people was a fetus baby that was still in the mother.
True.
Do you really want to just, you know, identify with that just to do that, just so you can impress somebody else? You got to love yourself.
Well, I mean, and I like how you address that because she's saying that men, she's saying that black men don't really want a woman with natural hair. The hair, because, you know, honestly, my natural hair don't lay down. It goes boop, and so I let it do that. Right. You know what I mean? I let it do that. But she's saying, which I kind of,
Sure,
I'm going to have to agree with her a little bit on that. Not even a little bit, a lot. Because there are a lot of men who say, oh, I want a natural sister. But then when you do go natural, it's like, yeah, not quite that natural.
Well, yeah. Well, look, I don't mind an afro at the top, but I don't need it at the bottom. I'm sorry. That was for Al. I know Al was going to do that one. So.
I can't stand you. I really can't.
No, but no, young lady, please, you got to love yourself first. You can't be something that you're not.
Yeah, and if a man doesn't love your natural hair, then he won't love you, and keep it pushing, plain and simple. But
beauty is beauty.
I would say that I do know of a lot of black men who like women with, I mean, hell, it's how our hair grows.
Yes. Knowledge of self.
Yeah, you got to have knowledge of self. And if that man is not trying to be with you because you don't have the long, silky European hair, then keep it pushing. He ain't for you. Let him, like you said, Donovan said perfectly, go find Becky. Whoever that is. And then Billy says, I love natural hair. And Richard says, Donovan for mayor. See?
There it is.
And guess who's going to be his campaign manager?
That's it.
And Al says, don't be mad, baby. It's better than for Pops to have Stacey Adams rather than Hush Puppies, Buster Browns, and Tom McCann shoes. They were probably cheaper though.
Yeah, but you got to take care of your feet. So if you're gonna be out there selling Muhammad Speaks and them bean pies, you got to take care of your feet.
That's what he said. He says, "Man, hey, Jonelle, what's happening?"
Wait, Jonelle, that's one that goes to jail, right?
Yeah, I thought you was missing. We thought maybe he was
I was gonna bring that up
Facebook
too.
Jail, but
I was like, man, your boy went right back to jail.
Yeah. No, he apparently he's still out.
Yeah, he's reformed. Okay.
Let's see how long you stay out, because he still ain't holding no punches at all. Okay,
good.
He letting him have it.
Keep it real.
And so thank you for that question, listener. Appreciate it. And then so moving right along, let's see. Okay, Sharon. I don't see Sharon on here, but she wanted to know about the countries. He said, laugh out loud, I've made it so far. She wanted to know about the countries that still have slavery. That still have the African countries that still have slavery. So I delved into it a little bit. And so for the record, it says the type of slavery that is still going on in Africa includes domestic service, debt bondage, military slavery, slaves of sacrifice, local slave trade, sex slave trade, and many more. Yeah. Right, that's your point. Many more, okay? Now, according to FaceToFaceAfrica.com, the top African countries where slavery still exists are, oh my gosh, I hope I say this right, Mauritania. And basically that's where the whites enslaved the blacks, and it says specifically the whites are enslaving blacks who identify as Moors. So they've enslaved them. All right. 2 is Sudan. Predominantly blacks enslaving blacks. 3 is Libya, captured and sold by Libyan rebels. Now these, I guess,
Nigerians.
The Libyans, they're trying to escape persecution and get refuge in Europe, and so they're crossing. So yeah, you're right. So they're crossing into Libya, and as they're crossing over, they're getting captured by the rebels, and the rebels are selling them into the sex slave trade and just the worst conditions ever. And then so 4, you have Egypt and Sinai Peninsula. And basically the Al-Qaeda and Bedouin smugglers. Okay, yeah. So you know more about this stuff than I do. They are capturing and selling these slaves into, or these people rather, into slavery. They said there's about 50 human trafficking gangs in that area that are doing it, and they're selling them predominantly into the slave trade, the women, the boys, and the girls. They're turning them into slaves. And then 5 is South Africa. Majority of wine production companies, they say are engaging in the new modern slavery in South Africa. Let's see, this says about 250 slaves, and then about 104 of them are being turned into sex slaves or exploited sexually, which is just god awful. But the question that I had was this, and maybe you guys can help me answer it. Now, as I've been hearing about this, especially lately in the news, the question that keeps coming through my mind is, how do we as black people, wherever in the world, how do we as black people keep getting on the receiving end of slavery? A receiving end, or I should say the brutal end of slavery. How is it that we keep getting turned into slaves, whether it's over here in Africa, wherever? How does that happen? What are we doing wrong?
It's not that what we're doing wrong, it's what we don't have.
Okay.
When you don't have an economic base or an economic structure you can't even sit at the table because it's all about money.
Mm-hmm.
We don't produce anything.
Okay, but to your point, we don't produce anything, but we know Africa is very rich in a
But
lot.
who owns all the minerals
Right.
and the rights and things like that?
Okay.
For white folks.
Right, and so, but how do we keep, because back in the day, and I'm saying back in the day, you know, like Queen Nzinga and Mansa Musa and all these people back in the day, how did we go from that to where we are now, to where in 2017 we're still hearing about black people all over the world being sold into slavery? And how? I mean, I get it, we don't own anything, but it's like,
Because the capitalist system and the pushing of Christianity onto a native people. You go anywhere in the world, it's the same game. Indians, Native Americans here, same thing.
but at least the Indians, though, they have stuff. You know, I won't say they've been vindicated, because
Well,
you're never going to be vindicated
they
for
have
somebody doing
stuff
that.
until they find something on that land and they run
Right,
off of that.
right. But at least they've been, I don't know if vindicator is the right word, but they've
Right.
been
Well, they've been
reparations.
decimated,
And,
right?
yeah.
They've been decimated to I don't know what, but
And then let's see. Al says George Michael had a song about being natural. Yes, he did. And he says, since you and Donovan have bad thoughts about Houston, I guess you can consider my city as a slave country as well. No, I mean,
no, beautiful. Houston is beautiful. It's just they need to change, and it's not all the black people down there. I think it's the black people that I ran across were the ones that were in the projects or in the areas next to the airport and places like that. Where
Yeah.
the poorer areas. And with that attitude, you're not going to get any better than where you're at.
So we ain't hating on H-Town, okay? And then Billy says, we went from that just like the Indians did. And that's what you were saying. And then Benny says, to this point on taste of hair and preferences and things of that nature, you have brothers that are mentally screwed up, which in turn screws up our women. But trust and believe me, it's all about, let's see more. It's all about, where'd I go? I always lose my place every once in a while. Trust and believe it's all about how much you love yourself and being able to recognize and make yourself available for a brother that is awakened mentally and can appreciate your natural self. But if you're trying to attract the normal sleep brother, then he's going to want to see you look more like a Caucasian as possible, because he has no self-awareness himself. So couldn't possibly want a sister that is totally in love with herself. And I hope you're listening, listener, because that was, to me, that was a perfect answer.
Perfect answer.
A man who doesn't know who he is surely will not accept you for who you are in your natural state. He will think your natural hair is ugly, or is nappy.
I mean, you put all that stuff on, fake. Okay, anybody ever see that movie, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker? Anne-Marie Johnson was in there, and he picks her up at the bar. She's this beautiful, illustrious-looking woman.
Yeah.
He gets her home, and the hair comes off, the eyelashes come off, the leg came off. I mean, it's like, who is this person? And, at the end of the day, you are who you are.
At the end of the day.
So...
Embrace it.
Embrace it, right.
Embrace it. And then so Billy says, your buddy said it right, no financial base. And then Al says, well, hell with it. I'm hating on that terrible California traffic. Well, that's funny. But no, it's true. And then, like a lot of people debate about Mugabe, who was just replaced on Friday as the president.
Interim president right now.
Yeah, there's another president. Was he the vice president originally and he got ran off or something like that?
Yeah, he was exiled and brought back.
He was exiled. And so there's a lot of heated debate regarding that. Some people say he kept the white folks off from taking over.
He did initially, but again, just like when it comes to any black leadership that comes into power, they become part of the system. And I'm not an Obama basher, but you get in there, you do for everybody else but your own.
Right. And then I was reading something, too, the other day. It's just funny that you had mentioned that about Mandela. And this article I was reading said that he pretty much sold out to the white government as well. Once he got out, everybody was, yay, Mandela, Madiba, and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
but
they just put a face on the revolution, and everybody came to a halt.
Yeah, and they're saying that he sold out. I know a lot of people find that disrespectful.
All of the wealth never changed hands. He didn't do anything to change the wealth. Yeah, exactly.
Just a figurehead. And so Al says, shout out to the Hanson Soda and Winco chicken, the most natural of all time. The Hanson Soda might be, but I don't know about that Winco chicken.
They use a special oil.
Yeah. And so, so that's, I don't know. Like I said, I was always curious, like, how do we keep ending up here?
Ignorance.
How?
Ignorance.
I mean, not just America, but everywhere. We are just enslaved.
When you don't control the resources of where you live.
Okay, so then how do we go to controlling the resources? Let me get Jonelle's comment, and you can tell me, since I think you may know.
Mm-hmm. I do.
And Jonelle says, we are just mentally damaged as black people all over the planet.
He's going to jail.
For example, he said he's going to jail.
He's going to jail.
For example, how whites are still able to play Africa. Mugabe, see, we're just talking about. Mugabe is just an example. We have been conditioned to lean to white rule and, let's see, white rule and influence via apartheid and slavery. This world needs to be detoxed and decolonized.
Sure. Absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. You say black leadership has failed?
There's no such thing as successful modern leadership. There's no such thing.
There's no such thing. I mean, I don't know if I disagree with that. I don't know. I mean, you know, I always like to point out Farrakhan. Now, I know, you know, Farrakhan, you know, comes from the Nation of Islam, and there's been some, you know, this and that behind the Nation of Islam. But if you truly listen to Farrakhan,
no, he has great leadership. But we're saying like on a level.
I'm trying to think, what is he saying that's not true?
No, a lot of what he's saying.
Yeah,
is true.
what is he saying that's not helpful to black people?
The sad thing is, the United States government does everything they can to suppress that message.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In addition to, you know, you have a lot of people, a lot of these pastors. I saw something with T.D. Jakes was asked about Farrakhan. Would he consider working with Farrakhan?
That's Farrakhan!
He didn't say that, but
basically.
He pretty much said no. He would rather denounce his brother, who is trying to help black people unify, than to piss off. You know, I'm sure T.D. Jakes has a lot of white followers and a lot of people who listen to him. Yeah, so he didn't want to say, well, I would help Farrakhan to help black people unify. You know, opposed to, well,
anybody that has that message, you will not last long.
Right, and it's unfortunate. So, geez, to me it's sad. It's like, wow, and I know black people, we are very strong. I mean, we are all that, but we got to stop getting in that situation.
Well, what it is we're very strong and we're very intelligent. You know, here you are running the dope game in your own community, which isn't very intelligent.
True. We
can do all these things, which requires universal mathematics, logistics, all this stuff with no infrastructure. We can do all that, but instead of taking that and saying, you know what, let's get this on a legit level.
Right.
We don't do it.
Right. We got to change that mentality. And Al says, black people have a tough decision tonight, y'all. The TV, the Soul Train Award, Steve Harvey hosting the Miss Universe pageant, Atlanta Housewives, and NFL. How about none of that toxic?
And who owns the Miss Universe pageant?
Right. Trump. Don't Trump own it?
That's right.
Right. So we ain't watching none of that madness. And, if, you know, speaking of making malt liquor for black people, because Spike Lee said that about Tyler Perry, I watched... the series She's Gotta Have It.
Yeah, how was that?
Oh, it was great. It was great. I impressed upon you guys.
Movie?
Yeah, I would say it's because he expanded upon it.
Okay.
I impressed upon you guys to watch it. He talked about gentrification throughout the series. One of the episodes toward the end, oh my gosh, it just had me balling. Listen, I ain't no punk. But that episode just had me, and I was just crying. I was mad, and I felt the pain. It was just like, wow, we really need to step up to the plate. So anyway, Billy says, I'm hoping that new meteor that's
that's coming by, the super
tens
meteor.
Of millions of years old, passes by the earth and change everything.
Yeah.
Passes by the earth, and I didn't hear anything about that.
Yeah, there's a super giant meteor that's a size a little bit bigger than the Earth that's going to pass by us in so many. I don't know if we're going to be around when it happens.
Okay.
It's going to make definitely a good difference, but. I'll give you an example of why we don't control and how we control things that we have.
Okay.
What's going on in the South right now, and Al might be familiar with this, and some of you guys back east might be familiar with this. You have land that was given to black folks, or they had been in their family for generations. Do you know these younger kids are not taught finances, and they are losing that land to the sheriff on sheriff sales because they're not paying the taxes on it. And the white people are coming in and swooping that land up. And I'm saying that because that's going on right in my own hometown, my birth town. My aunt, instead of calling any of us and saying, hey, I'm behind on my taxes, whether I need some help, I mean, wouldn't it be better that I own it and she can still live there versus, nigga, get your ass out of here, whatever the deal is.
Right.
This was a 4-bedroom little house on about 2 acres.
Now that's what you call uneducated.
And she wouldn't even pick up the phone to say
$800. She lost all of that.
Lost everything.
Oh my God! Yeah, we got to do better.
And this is how you keep saying, how do we keep falling?
How to keep falling?
That's another example, because land resources. If we've got property, they can't gentrify our area. If
True,
we own
if it
all
belongs
property.
to you.
Right.
I mean, I absolutely agree.
Exactly, but the niggas are like, what, $10,000? I'm out of here. And these kids are selling it because they don't know.
Right. So I'm sure you guys heard that, but Donovan is saying that because obviously we don't hold on to the land. Mm-hmm. Land, real estate, that's where the real power is. Mm-hmm. Anytime we don't own anything,
we're going to get the land, anything that we can own, the water.
Right, we're going to get out of here. This is mine now. I'm putting a coffee shop right here.
Yeah, and these grandkids get that because we didn't teach them finances.
Right.
And, okay, the land property thing might be $3,000 a year.
Right.
But hey, man, I'm going to give you $10,000 for it.
And real talk, we know a girl who she owns the property. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Lots and lots of acres. But I don't know if she's lost it by now, but she was losing it to, I think it was $2,000 in property taxes. Mm-hmm. She was going to lose all this prime real estate.
Mm-hmm. And given 10 years, they're going to be building out there.
Yeah, it's going to be a very lucrative area to live, but it's like, wow. But you're absolutely right about that. Mm-hmm. And then Al says, I got to have you and that Waco chicken. If you don't stop talking about Lord have mercy, it's gonna almost make me want to taste it. Is it good?
Yeah, it's good. It got some good oil.
Billy said they do it with land and houses down here. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
Absolutely.
But $800, 2 acres, and the structure on top of it.
Now that's when you use what you got. No, I'm just playing.
Right.
Get what you need. I'm just playing.
But that also was your ignorance and the pride. Well, I don't want to call Uncle so-and-so because I don't want him to tell me nothing. But at least the land would have stayed in the family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so Jonelle says, majority of black leaders have been sold or broken. Mugabe, after waking up and breaking from a pawn of the queen and fighting to get the power for the people, will still pray to those who desire to be pawns of whites, and that mental lack of self-preservation is what we truly fail to be engulfed in. We lack a true liberated mind on the whole. Minister Farrakhan is the only true leadership that roots us in self-love. First, to thy own self be true. First, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're just not going to win, as you say, Jonelle, if we don't, and Benny says this too, we don't love ourselves.
And if we don't teach our children finances.
We have to teach our children finances.
And here's the bad thing. When you have young ladies who are leading their families and they rather pay $400 to get their hair done versus paying the light bill, the car payment, or the school,
or even saving that money to buy some real estate.
Right, to buy some real estate. We are always going to have a problem because these kids are looking at mommy. And if mommy did it and nobody else is telling them that is why we are losing.
Right, absolutely. And Al says, my coworkers are trying to get me to say the N-word for $100, and I told them, no, he will not say that word. I mean,
I'll say it.
I know you will. And I say it too. I just, like, it's probably a word I need to flush. I'm getting better, I think.
So anyway, I'm starting to say Negro more so.
Yeah. So anyway, the last topic that we have on the menu, how much time we got?
We got plenty.
Okay, so on the menu is
20 minutes.
Some of you guys, 20 minutes. So some of you guys have been seeing this hashtag floating around called Free Cyntoia Brown.
Yes.
All right.
We did a video on that.
Right, and we did a video on it, and I'm going to post it. So Cyntoia is a young lady. Well, she's about 30 now, but back in 2004 or so, she was about 16 years old. She was into the sex trades. Her pimp, I guess you can call it, was having her out there as a sex slave. They're saying there's no such thing as a child prostitute, so they called her a sex slave. She ran away from him. He was a bad dude. Name is Cutthroat. Ran away from him to go prostitute. That's what they're saying back then. Prostitute in a different city. And she said this herself. Prostitute in a different city. As she was going to do that, she met a guy, a white man by the name of Johnny Allen. He propositioned her for sex. They negotiated $150. He took her back to his house. They got in the bed. She said she thought he was going to shoot her because he was making her nervous. And so she reached in her things and got her gun and shot him in the back of the head. Now, she also took off with his wallet, his car, and his guns and all that other stuff. A couple of days later, she turned herself in, saying she was the one that was responsible for it. As she's going through the trial, the preliminary hearing, the judge had an opportunity to try her as an adult or a minor. The judge decided to try her as an adult, and then she was sentenced. She was sentenced to life. She's eligible for parole when she turns 69. Now, I don't know, and a lot of people are not really for sure where this hashtag or why it started trending again, or her story rather started trending, but it was the likes of Rihanna, Kim K, Kim Kardashian, T.I., and a couple other people who started, free Cyntoia, and then they started giving this watered down version of what happened. And so they're saying that heroically she killed her captor. She killed the man who was, I guess trying to rape her. This is the story that's going around. And so as I started to see the hashtag, I was like, well, let me look into it, because this is, what's going on. This is very sad. She doesn't deserve to be in jail and all sorts of stuff.
Story years ago.
So, and you heard about it years ago. And so once I started to research, and I watched a documentary called Me Facing Life. It's a very interesting documentary called Me Facing Life, and from her own mouth, everything I just told you, she said. In fact, she admitted that she executed him. And so, was the dude a bad dude because he, bought, I guess, a 16-year-old child for sex? Absolutely.
Doesn't everybody do that?
No, everybody doesn't do that. It's not normal.
Well, in Congress, you're saying all these
Well,
sex
we ain't
guys
talking about Congress, okay? Or Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood.
But, so he's a bad dude. He bought this girl for sex. I'm sure he could take, because she looks like a baby. Back then, she looked like a child. She didn't look like a grown woman.
Like an 8-9-year-old girl.
Yeah, she looked very young. And so, no, he's a bad dude. In fact, I think she got the deal she got is because he was painted as this upstanding, real estate agent in the community. And
also, in fact, this part, very important part of the story, this takes place in Tennessee.
Oh, yeah, Tennessee. And so she was, he was painted as this, well-to-do real estate agent, and we can't allow his legacy and him be painted in this bad light. And so I believe that helped her to get a life sentence. Now, she had been through a lot of stuff in her life, but the narrative that I'm going to get you guys comments, narrative that a lot of people were painting was that she was this victim and she was a hero for doing what she did. In essence, this little girl murdered this man, is what he did. In cold blood, I don't know, but she murdered him. And the forensic pictures, you can see him laying on his hands. So he wasn't reaching for anything. He was asleep when she shot him. So that's basically what happened. And so I guess I brought that up is because a lot of times we are guilty of ginning the mob unnecessarily. Also, I wanted to talk about Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown, well, you guys probably seen this meme going around with Franklin, is the Thanksgiving.
I put it up too.
Yeah.
I put that up.
The Thanksgiving photo.
And nobody understood what that was.
Yeah, well, everybody, from the narratives I was seeing, they were saying, Charles Schultz, who's the originator, the creator of Charlie Brown and the Peanuts, rather, he was racist because he had Franklin sitting across the table from everybody else.
By himself.
I'm like, okay, well, people just do their research. They would see that it wasn't that he was racist that he put him across the way. He was integrating Franklin into the cartoons because the cartoon didn't have any black characters, and a school teacher appealed to him and said, well, why don't you start putting black characters in there? He says, you know what, I agree, but I got to do it slowly because we're still integrated and all sorts of stuff. So that was his way of introducing Franklin. So it wasn't like, I'm going to put this little nigga in here, so
and
people
keep him separated.
Yeah, and then there are people talking about, he has him in a pink chair. That must mean he was trying to make him gay. And I'm like...
Yeah, everybody reads into it more than what it is.
Trust me, I'm not saying no subliminal stuff don't take place, but I just think people, we need to be responsible in the things that we put out there. Stop ginning the mob unnecessarily. Now, do I think Cyntoia Brown deserves life? No. I think they should have tried her as a child. I don't think they should have tried her as an adult. I think with the momentum of it, because they said if she was tried now, she would have been labeled a sex worker.
She wouldn't have been tried.
Right. She would have been tried as an adult. She would have been tried as a child.
Let me
and I'm going to get to you guys' comments.
Let me intercede there. And
okay.
If you guys are going to look up that story, there's also another story very similar of a young lady named Sarah Cruzan.
Yeah,
she's actually from Riverside, California, right down the street from where Dee lives, where this happened on University Avenue. She ended up killing her pimp to get away, and she was abused, and her mother.
But she won her appeal, right? She
won, and she finally won, but she did like 19 years in jail. And I said it on the show. I said it in our video. No child is disposable.
I agree with that.
So
I agree. And so Al says, yes, free Cyntoia Brown and her parents for giving her that name. You know what? And Samuel, hey, what's happening? He said capitalism is the great evil. Kwame Ture said we will never be free until Africa is free. The AAPRP pushes, I almost said the AARP, like the old people, pushes one unified Africa under scientific socialism. I mean, absolutely. And I agree with that. If Africa's not free, none of us are free. You know, so it's like we got to stop having this, 360. Okay, now Africa's in slavery. I mean, and I joke about this a lot, but how soon is it before we're back in slavery? If we don't, wake up, how long before it takes for us to be shackles on my feet?
Well, a lot of people don't want to hear this about the Illuminati, the one world government, stuff like that. That is actually a real thing.
Slavery?
The one world government.
Oh, yeah,
that's actually a real thing.
Absolutely.
People don't want to talk about it because it is too real, but that is what's going on right now.
Oh, absolutely. And Jonelle says, we don't understand the economic power that we are. Why we were enslaved in the first place and how we are economic benefits to everyone truly, but ourselves. We are truly due to our ignorance and lack of production in a greater form of indentured slavery and a system rooted in Dred Scott, a prey to justice. Yeah, I mean, we always talk about this here. I mean, just in America, we are worth $1.3 trillion annually, and we trick off almost all of that.
There is no Christmas if black people do not participate.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, you know what? And listen, I'm no shade to the guy on my timeline. I'm not even going to say his name, but do you know I saw a brother say, they're all these, and I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said all these so-called woke people telling y'all not to go out there and spend money during Christmas. Shoot, if something's on sale, go get it. Don't be a fool. That's what he said. And he had like so many people liking and agreeing with that. And I'm like, we do it to ourselves. So, I mean, we honestly do. So
basically, for principle, so you're an unprincipled person. So,
yeah.
So you're just going to go out there. So let's follow the unprincipled person.
Right, and let's continue hurting your race. Yeah, right. If you can go to, the white man and get a washing machine.
I'm with y'all. I just want to get here, get some zigzags.
Yeah, exactly. That's the mentality. I agree with you, but I need to run in here real quick and give me some zigzags. And the Samuel says also that white supremacy / capitalism doesn't work some of the time. It works all the time and makes the onslaught of us against us seem invincible or invisible, rather.
Invisible, yeah. Well, capitalism in its purest form is very brutal. That is why we're losing.
Oh, absolutely. So. And we don't, like you said to your earlier point, we don't have a grasp on what it actually means to be financially productive, right. And then so, Allie says, black character on Charlie Brown, to hell with that, because they don't sell the Dolly Madison donuts anymore. That used to be the first commercial they would take.
Yes.
Lord have mercy.
Yes. Absolutely. Today in Black History, Al, give us another.
Stay away from them damn donuts. They're poison.
Give us another Black History lesson. That was really good.
And then Billy says, that's why they are trying to, that's what they're trying to do. Put us back at the bottom. Well, Billy...
I think we're already
at the bottom. I'm going to say, I don't know if you know this.
Yeah, we are at the bottom.
But if we're not at the bottom, we're pretty close. And so that not only they're trying to put us there, but they're trying to keep us there.
Well, what's below us? Dirt? So I'm just saying, I mean, I don't know anybody that gets treated the way we get treated.
Well, because as everybody keeps saying on here, we lack self-love. Right. If we don't treat ourselves with respect, then we can't really expect everybody else.
The black man, the black woman don't get along. I mean, we're just at constant state of war. I mean, if we can't get along with each other, how are we going to deal with this white man and this Asian man?
And they know that. That's why they keep us divided. Right. And we help them. And Jonelle says she did the right thing and need to be set free. It's just another raper. The injustice system saw another cash cow in her being locked up rather than her being free. And so many of our women being...
Yes, that is the biggest group of the incarcerated locked up.
He said
there's weave.
Stop it.
A lot of it's
the weave. He said the system, free our women, period, due to the fact that blacks have never gotten justice, period, and are judged by those who are the oppressors and the reasons why they're able. The criminals to be the judge is due to being an oppressive position. We want true justice or else. And then me and Donovan taled about this too.
Yeah, go see our video that we put out last week.
I'm going to post it.
Loving the Skin I'm in. We talked exactly about beautification and all of that stuff.
And to your point, Joe, now we talked about you know, a lot of times we get the jury summons and we're like, I ain't going to jury duty. They only paying us $15 a day. Shit, I got shit to do. I ain't going. But yeah, we don't know. Well, we should know that when it says a jury of your peers, it's supposed to be juries of people who are like you. And so when we don't show up, then you're going to get an all-white jury, which is what I think she had. The judge obviously was white. And so we
from Tana Slade.
Right. And so when it comes time to vote for local elections, we don't look into the judges and see what their track record is. Oh, okay. They got a conviction rate, 97% of all black people. Okay, let me take myself down there to the poll and vote for somebody who was more friendly toward black people. We don't do those things. Instead, we complain about it. Oh, gosh, you know, they locking us up. Yeah, because we don't have a jury of our peers or a judge.
A current news. There's a guy that is facing a federal judgmentship for lifetime judgmentship. Never tried a case. He has a law degree.
Right. So those are the cats that are getting on as becoming judges. And Billy says, "Laugh, I know, I can't believe it. Yet I have hype. Or you have hope." No, I mean, I don't know if we're at the bottom. I think we're pretty close. Maybe.
I believe we're at the bottom, but that's my opinion.
I would say we're close. I mean,
what's under us? Because right now, right here where we live in Riverside, California, Mexicans are putting up businesses. They're doing this. They're doing that.
All right, we're at the bottom of the totem pole, okay?
Yes.
I was trying to hold out some hope.
Yes, you're at the bottom. The Indians have a casino, so everybody's
not that it's a laughing matter because it's not, but we getting there, y'all. Why do y'all think the FBI and all these other groups
they're keeping us down?
Yeah, they're trying to.
Right.
You got these white supremacist groups. They're doing what they're doing because they're scared. They know what they've done to us for the last almost 500 years. Payback is a mother.
Coming, and it's coming.
They know that, so let's try to keep them down. Let's keep them oppressed. Let's try to keep them, you know, thinking that they're bad and all this. Then let's do that. But we're waking up. We're starting to, as I like to say, fight back. Long gone are the days where that was my phone. Where we're turning the other cheek. Another one.
And if we can get these moms and dads and people to stop letting their children walk into the industrial prison complex.
Right, I agree.
And turn that around.
I agree.
Man, the money that we would save and the things that we can do if we did that.
You know, and I was having this conversation earlier that a lot of times we think because our children are not chronologically children anymore, that we don't have the right to say nothing to them. Or, you know, well, they grown and I really can't. I'll tell you this much. My daughter will be 25 in less than a month. But she know I'm crazy and she know I will snatch a knot in herself if I have to. I mean, I don't have to. I can't say, well, she's grown, but if I see her kind of going wayward, I feel like as her mother, it is my duty to say, you know what, I think you might want to come over this way. That way is probably not where you want to go. You know, and you're right. We got to stop making it
making it rite of passage.
Yeah, so acceptable where, you know, Johnny locked up again.
And then stop taking your kids up there to see Johnny or to see Gail in the prison, because when I went to the prison that one time, they thought the kids acted like it was a...
Well, because a lot of them probably, that's the only environment they've seen their mom or dad in. You know, they thought...
And then they walk right into it.
Well, in their case, it was a woman's prison. So, yeah, they thought, well, this is where the only place I've known mommy to be, you know. It's like Disneyland. And then Billy says, I believe I'm on top, always have. Me too.
Yes. I mean, there's some of us doing well. There's some of us doing well.
I mean, but it's all in your mind, you know, as a man thinketh. I impress upon everybody to read or listen to that on YouTube by James Allen, As a Man Thinketh. If you feel like you on top and you believe that you are on top, so I'm with you on that one. And Billy says, not money or status, but because I am black. That's right, brother. I always say...
We have to get that message out.
Yes. No matter what black people have gone through, what I've gone through, because I've experienced a lot of racism in my life, I always say, however, I am glad I'm black. I wouldn't want to be nothing else. Even if I had an opportunity to come back to something else, I would say, you know what? I want to be black.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you even asking me something stupid like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of us doing really well. I mean, you'll be surprised when people will see me in my pilot jacket if I'm walking around that. I mean, white people are just surprised that...
It's a costume.
Yeah. hey, nigga, you know, what are you doing with that wings on?
A lot of people, because Donovan is a pilot, well, he's an ex-pilot, but people ask him, were you a pilot?
Yeah.
You fly planes? And I've seen them ask him that. I'm like, is that odd?
It's very odd, especially, and it's really sad when our own people are in disbelief.
Nah, you got that jacket from the Goodwill.
Goodwill, you know.
And Jonelle says, we at the bottom of the ship. We are non-producing people. We are gradually getting our mind right. Yeah. I was listening, y'all. I was trying to be hopeful. I was trying to find that, that light at the end of the bottom of the totem pole. Mm-hmm. But you're right. Absolutely. It's not, all bad news for us. We are waking up and we are starting to see the light.
But maybe it should be bad news because when there ain't nothing left, you can't do nothing but fight
go
back.
Up. Right. I agree with you. So that's what we are. As black people, how much time we got?
I've got 2 minutes.
We got. He's about to say we got a lot of time. Then got 2 minutes, and he's gonna be like. So anyway, y'all. That's all I have. And as always, I thank everybody on the YouTube, Facebook Live, the podcast for joining us. It is always my pleasure to do this, to learn what it is we need to do to get from the bottom of the totem pole.
Get from the ground.
Get from the ground, really. But we're getting there, y'all. Yeah. We are getting there. And Jonelle, you also say, let's see how many lights go up and how much ho happens next month. Yeah. Their system of Xmas rakes in so much money. And their New Year's James Allen work is a great read. Yes, it is. I always tell people, read it. It's not long. It's very short. Read it and listen to it on YouTube. It is just... It'll get your mind right. Yes. It will.
Yes. You guys, please like, share, look at the video, share it, get the message out there. It can't get any better. This has been the Demetri K Show on the podcast. So check us out. And you guys that are listening live, check her out. Check the video out and tell us what you think.
Peace, you guys, on the podcast. And to you guys on Facebook Live, I'm going to get out of here. I've been fighting a cold for the last couple days. You guys didn't know that, did you? No. And Jonelle says ground zero is the door to the new. Absolutely. Where else are we going to go? And Billy says, great show as always. Thank you. No, thank you. It couldn't be a great show without you guys. So I thank you very much. I will be back here next week. So if you have anything you want to talk about, hit me up and I'll be more than happy to do the research to talk about it with you guys. So I'm going to let you guys go enjoy the rest of your great Sunday afternoon. And always a big thank you to Donovan Sadiq, who is the bomb at what he does.
Yes, check out the video.
Check out the video. I'm going to post it. I'm going to post it. Yeah, so again, thank you so much. I know you could be watching your Cowboys. I think they lost on...
Yeah, they did. Really bad.
They got their ass beat on Thursday.
Yeah, they did.
He could be watching football, which you're not supposed to, but I thank you anyway for doing this. So you guys, I will see you guys next week. Peace.
All right, Al, Black History. Keep it up.